Greetings, I'm Dr. Max Gomez at the 5th International Vatican Conference, and I am joined now by Aaron Kowalski, President and CEO of JDRF International. Welcome, Aaron. Good to see you again.
Good to see you again, Max.
Thank you. So let's start out with so many of these conferences that I'm sure you go to are relatively narrowly focused, particularly in diabetes, of course, and they're kind of siloed. Tell me what you think is the value of this kind of a broad, multidisciplinary conference at the Vatican.
Yeah, this conference, I think, is one of the best. And it certainly brings together, I think, not only multidisciplinary, but also what I would call multi-pipeline. And when I say pipeline, I mean, when I work at JDRF, I say research is a means, not an end. And in medicine, I think the end is somebody doing better. So here we're looking at how do we drive better outcomes across the pipeline from discovery research all the way out into the hands of people. And the Vatican meeting, the Cura Foundation have done an amazing job of highlighting all that it takes to drive better outcomes and then sharing different perspectives cross-disciplinary. So this is an amazing opportunity, and I'm always so thrilled to be invited to participate.
Terrific. Thank you. Drug prices have been in the news a lot in recent years, right? Particularly for something life-saving and critical for chronic care drugs such as insulin. How do we address that? Should we have legal limits on drug prices for things such as insulin?
I don't know that we should talk about legal limits, but I did think we need a balance between the costs and drivers of innovation. Here we are 100 years post-development of insulin, and in the United States, people cannot afford it. Type 1 diabetes is a life-threatening disease without insulin. You die if you don't have insulin.
Right.
So we're in a situation in the US that competition is driving prices up instead of down. We have rebates that are not transparent and a driver of this increasing cost. We need out-of-pocket costs to be reasonable and fair for people with diabetes. And I think there's no other answer. And this is a big fight for JDRF with Congress, with the manufacturers, and with the healthcare industry.
You know, when I took econ back in college, competition was supposed to drive prices down. How is it that this isn't working that way? And are there other models that we should be looking at to make it better?
Well, if folks come to our session, we talk a bit more in detail about this, but we certainly know it can work. And I'll give you a perfect example of this. I have families who, for them, it's cheaper. And I know one family that pops to mind for me is a family in Texas. It's cheaper for them to fly to Canada to buy their insulin than it is to use their insurance in the United States because they have a high deductible plan as a small business owner. So the insulin is profitable in Canada. So we know that the government is using competition in like you said, Max, in your economics classes back in college as a driver to drive costs down. And I think similarly here in the United States, we need competitive, thriving markets that drive prices down, not up, which will then equilibrate the price and I think lead to more fair and stable pricing and ultimately also to innovation in next generation insulins.
While still allowing for that innovation, that R&D that we need, correct?
Absolutely. We need, I started on cow and pig insulin when I was diagnosed with diabetes, as did my brother. Today's insulins are much improved, but there's still room for further improvement. And so we need that proper balance of affordability and accessibility.
And that's a balance that you believe is achievable.
Well, we know it's achievable. I mean, JDRF is a global organization, and we see this happening in Europe, in Canada, in Australia. I think our system in the United States needs improvement. I think almost any American would agree with that. And that's a battle that JDRF is certainly weighing in on because we know our families with type 1 right now are really feeling the pain.
Aaron Kowalski, thank you so much for your insight. It's so important for life-saving drugs, and we need both that innovation and the right pricing to help people. Thank you.
Thanks to the Cura Foundation and the Vatican. This is one of the best conferences, and I am so appreciative to participate.
Thank you.